All right. So we are back for another lunch and learn inside of our relationship mastery community. Last week, if you were on last week, we had a really good chat. My wife actually heard me talking. She was like, "That was really good." She said, "I wish I had that when I was single." She really enjoyed listening in to the teaching. And one of the things, if you Uh, well, let me hear from you. What was one of the big takeaways from last week's uh, lunch and learn? What was one thing like you walked away with? I know we talked about the red flags with dating, some of the signs for discerning, how to discern a quality candidate and someone that is God sent versus a distraction. And then I think we ended up talking about dating and how to date. I think first date practices. So what was one of the big takeaways for you?
I'll share.
Hmm.
I think for me, one of my biggest takeaways was when you said just learning how to discern God's voice. um, I always, I've always heard people say, God said to me. And for some reason, when I hear those words, I'm thinking that it means, okay, did you really hear God's voice? But now I'm learning that it is not necessarily you're hearing a voice, but words that are spoken to you in your spirit. And when they're spoken, you just know, okay, this is a different type of voice. So I'm practicing and learning how to listen to that voice a lot better. So that was a big takeaway for me.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And I said that you have to learn how to discern when God is speaking to you and when He's leading you. And again, for most of you ladies, we oftentimes just call it woman's intuition. But when the Spirit of God speaks to you in your spirit, your voice, we usually call it intuition, a premonition. Sometimes it comes as a vision, comes as a dream. And so there's different ways God communicates to us, and learning through prayer and spending time with God, reading his word, you begin to recognize and discern the voice of God from your voice, from your own thoughts, from the thoughts of even the enemy, because even the devil tries to speak to us, right? And so we're able to differentiate and discern the voice of God from our own feelings and our own thoughts. The more we spend time with God, just like in any relationship, the more you spend time with a person, the more you can recognize them just by hearing them speak, body language, so on and so forth. So that is extremely important. That's one of the things that I pray for every day, not only for myself, but anyone that I'm leading, teaching, coaching, guiding, that they will all learn how to hear God for themselves. Because at the end of the day, we're all, the Bible says that our steps are ordered by God. So the more aware we are of Him ordering our steps, the more peace, the more understanding, the more order we are going to experience in our own lives. Anyone else? If not, then I can jump into today's discussion. So, here's what I want to do today. I want to talk to you, ladies, on I felt like after how we ended last week talking about best practices for like first dates, how to date, how to have make sure you have a successful first date, and not how to not wasting your time dating people you have no business dating, but learning how to even weed through some of the potential time wasters, because we can't, time is your most valuable resource, right? You don't want to waste any time going out, messing around with the wrong people. So I want to kind of give you guys something more practical that you can walk away with today. And I want to talk to you about 10 steps to getting and keeping the man you want. All right. 10 keys or 10 steps to keeping and getting the man you want. I want you guys to take notes if you can. I want you to write the notes if you can in the chat. We're going to fly through them. And if you have any questions at any point, raise your hand, stop me, help me, allow me, ask me to break that down some more because I don't want to just talk to you. I want to actually walk with you through these different points. All right. I don't think I'll get to all 10 today, so we'll just kind of fill it out. And if we can't get to all 10, we'll always continue next week. All right. So 10 steps to getting and keeping the man you want. Here's the first step. Number one, know what you want. The first step is to know what you want. Know what you want. Know what you want in a man. Know what you want in a husband. Know what you want in a purpose partner. Know what you want in a life partner. This is, if you've, again, in the community, if you go into the classroom, you would see that I have an entire course called the Soulmate Script, which is where I challenge every single one of you to go inside of that. And the very first session, I'm telling you to write out a script or write out your list of non-negotiables. What are the 10 things that you know you want in a husband? If you're not clear about what you want, you will never find what you're looking for because you don't know what you're looking for. Too many women settle for any man instead of the right man. And you'll never know who's the right man for you if you have not defined your own non-negotiables, your faith. Write that down if you know faith is extremely important for you. So you know if you meet a guy who might have money, good looks, 6 feet tall, whatever all the things you think you want in a man, but he's not aligned with you spiritually, then you know he's not, there's no necessary, you don't need to go out on a date, right? His faith his morals are tied to his faith. His values are tied to his faith. His vision is tied to his faith. So, for example, you know one of your non-negotiables is that he must be a man of faith. If you're a woman of faith, right? Um, so you want to know what your non-negotiables are. Clarity attracts. Clarity attracts. If you're confused about what you want, you're going to be confused. The man that you're going to meet a man and he'll be confused. You're going to attract clarity if you're clear. So the more clear you are on knowing that you want, see, there's some women who date and they're not even sure if they want to get married. If you're still uncertain or unclear about your desire for marriage, then a man is going to be unclear about courting you. He's going to be unclear about if he should pursue you and be more intentional with you because if you're not intentional, he's not going to be intentional. You can't expect what you are not putting a demand on in your own life. A man can't give you what you want if you don't even know what you want. You guys got that? So it starts with your clarity. If you're uncertain about your boundary regarding sex before marriage, he's going to be uncertain about it. But if you have that boundary rock solid and you're clear, no sex before marriage, and he knows that you mean that, he has to respect it. But if you're throwing signs and having conversations and making certain suggestions, and he's gonna think, well, maybe we could go there, then that's what's going to happen. All right. So get clear on what you want. Number one, clarity. Um, Number two, heal before you deal. Heal before you deal. Second step to getting and keeping the man that you want to make sure that you are healed. Unhealed trauma attracts toxic relationships. When you are not healed, you will attract unhealed men. You know, it's funny when I see people who are like, they always talk about being in these toxic, traumatic relationships and they just want to be happy. And I was telling somebody the other day, I said, wanting to be happy in a relationship is the wrong starting point. You don't want to ask to be happy. You want to ask to be healthy. You want say don't just pray to God make me happy. No, your prayer should be God make me healthy because healthy people are happy people. You cannot be happy if you're not healthy. Hello. If you're not healed within, you're never going to be. It's like you're broke. It's like a broken glass complaining that water can never stay inside of the vessel. The vessel has cracks. The vessel has leaks. Every time water is being poured in, it's going to flow right back out because it's broken. It has to be fixed in order for it to be whole, to be complete, and to be able to hold anything of substance. So I want you to know that the right man, ladies, deserves the whole you, not a wounded version of you. The other thing that happens is that when you're carrying past pain from exes, from family members, from rejection, you'll start bleeding into the new relationships if not addressed. You're going to carry that pain and you're going to begin to treat that new person, you're going to treat that new person according to the old pain. You're going to take out on them stuff that they didn't even do to you. So you must heal before you deal if you want a happy relationship. Healthy precedes happy. Healthy precedes happy. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Here's the third step. Number three, if you want to get and keep the man that you want, number three, I want you to learn how to lead with femininity, not force. Lead with femininity, not force. You know, femininity is not talked much about in the church, but we need to talk about it, okay? Because especially for women of color, we have a lot of women of color. You have learned how to become strong and independent, not by choice, but because of force. The way life and society has caused you to have to defend yourself, protect yourself, work harder, have to outperform. You know, if you're in the job market, in the work field, you have to outperform both men and women in order to stand out. Black women have are now the most educated, the most decorated when it comes to education out of all people groups. Uh, Many women are entrepreneurs, have their own businesses, thriving and doing things, are successful from the world standpoint. But however, they're struggling in their homes and struggling to have a healthy love life. Why? Because they haven't learned how to turn off that drive, that force, that masculine energy. You know, if a man feels like he has to compete with a woman, he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to force her to submit, which doesn't feel good, or two, he is going to actually submit to her. And watch this, men will actually submit faster than women. Men will submit faster than women. This is why the Bible had to tell women to submit. Think about it. You never see the Bible tell a man to submit. Y'all, most women think, well, that's just the Bible being chauvinistic and wanting to tell women what to do. It's not that. It's the fact that women have a harder time submitting to men because the enemy always wants to pervert what God has naturally created and ordained. So because God called men to lead and be the head, the perversion of that will be a man taking a submissive role, a subservient role, and allow a woman to lead. That's the perversion. And the perversion of the woman who is called to be to her strength is supposed to come with her ability to be soft and her ability to bring peace with her words. Guess what? The enemy is going to try to pervert that and make a woman become aggressive and hostile. And instead of being soft, he will pervert you to become strong. He's going to always try to get the opposite of what God designed for his glory. So that's the dilemma right now we're seeing in the world. Many of you guys probably seen that new Barbie movie. Well, it's not new anymore, but the Barbie movie where you had the world where um the Barbies ran the world and the men were the ones that were supporting and serving the woman. And a lot of people had complaints about that movie because it was almost like a portrayal of the type of society where the world is going, where women are in charge, women are leading, and men are subservient. And this ideology is now being framed in which men are also realizing, like, hey, am I supposed to be masculine? Am I supposed to be strong? Am I supposed to be protective? But I'm telling you, ladies, your femininity is a superpower. Godly men, real men, are drawn to peace. They're drawn to respectfulness. They're drawn to warmth. They're drawn to softness, not combativeness, not competition or control. And you don't have to outmuscle a man's leadership. All you need to do is allow space for his masculinity to shine, and that man will go above and beyond to respect you, to cater to you because you're making him feel like a man. All a man wants to do in a relationship is feel like a man. If you make him feel like a man with where he is and what he has, he will always keep trying to outdo himself. He's always going to try to keep hearing that appreciation, that those words of affirmation, those words that are going to stroke his ego. He's always going to feel like that because that's how God created men to shine. This is why the saying is true: behind every great man is a great woman. Because there's something about a feminine voice in a masculine man's ears that stir up in him the embodiment of the greatness that is embedded in him. So learning how to lead with femininity is your superpower, ladies. Which leads me to the fourth step. Step number four on how to keep a man and attract a man. Number four is respect is the love language of men. Respect is the love language of men. Before I move on, anyone has a question or should I just keep going? Any questions? Let me see. Let me look at the chat. No.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for number three, you mentioned femininity over force and like exhibiting like peace and softness. So like, how do you present something that you have a concern with without appearing as like someone that is trying to like point out the negative? It's like you want to be like peaceful and soft, but it's like an issue that keeps coming up, and it's like you want to bring it to the person's attention.
Yeah. Um, you make when you're talking to them, you want to make sure that I think it starts with your heart posture. And number two, you want to make sure that you ask, you're leading with questions more than you are of assumptions, or you're telling them what it is that they're doing. Because the truth is, because you might be seeing something in a way that they're not seeing it, you don't want to make him feel like he's incompetent because he's not seeing something the way you see it. So you want to ask questions and ask genuinely. When I say a heart posture, you genuinely want to find out. And number two is you also might want to let him know, like, hey, I'm asking this not because I just want clarity. It's not because I think you're, being um spiteful or you're being intentional about what you're doing, but I'm just asking for this. And ask questions. You say, do you mind if we speak about this right now? Um, is now a good time to talk about this, or maybe we could talk about this later? Because another thing is sometimes is the timing. A lot of times, if we ask a question when we are irritated or angry, guess what? That energy is going to come out. So, the Bible tells us to be slow to speak for a reason, because many times we have to make sure that when see, it's not just what we say, it's how we say it. It's when we say it that matters even more. Because again, you might be thinking like, I'm not saying it in a way that's hostile, but your body language, the tone of voice, all those things starts in being inflected, and the other person on the other end is going to hear that. So it's always good, especially if something is irritating to you, do not ask when you're irritated. Take some time, calm down, process it first, and then ask a leading question to say, "Hey, can we talk about this?" And make sure that you're in a positive attitude, not a negative one. So, great question. All right. So,
Um,
oh, yes.
so like you are talking, and I'm just like at the same time, like examining myself.
Hmm.
And so okay, so how do you deal, or what approach you would take when you know you're not an aggressive person, but you have this defense mechanism where you like just act like put on this tough exterior, not tough as in being rude or disrespectful, but you could probably, you know maybe match according to what the person say, just appear to be the strong person, or like, you can't play me, that kind of thing. You just put it up because you don't want to seem like you are like this person who could just be easily played. So you have this defense mechanism where you just present yourself as being very assertive, and you know how do you like probably just bring the, I don't know exactly how to ask, but I'm sure you get where I'm coming from.
So basically, like, you have a tough external demeanor, but that's not really who you are. But that's just kind of how you present yourself to protect yourself. Is that it?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there is now one thing that you can do is if you want to, how can I say it? If you want to lower that approach or take it down a notch, you have to practice smiling more. Practice smiling more. Show that you are a nice person. And a smile is one of the easiest ways you can do that. So work on smiling more. Sometimes you're angry. Sometimes you might be, let's say a guy is really interested in you and he wants to talk to you, but he doesn't even know if he can. Sometimes if you make eye contact and you want him to talk to you, you just have a little smile on your face and he sees that you're a friendly person. And if he feels like you're a friendly person, he can come and talk. Or another thing is, yeah, if you have the opportunity to show that you are a kind-hearted person, is through serving. So if a guy sees that you're willing to serve, whether it's let's say you're at a church event and you're willing to help distribute food or give things out and you're smiling and you look nice, guys notice all those things. If they see like somebody opens the door for you and you say thank you and you actually show that you are a kind person, that will portray itself. And so, what I found is, Antoinette, is that the more you live this way every day, practicing being a little bit more kind and being a little bit more generous with your emotions and your and being sharing that love and that genuine smile with people on a day-to-day basis and learning how to open that up, it becomes a part of who you are. um and another thing is that you got to realize is, yes, when you're out in the street, you might want to have that hard demeanor because you want to make sure that you're safe. But when you're in environments that you know you're going to be in for a little while, it's okay to make sure that while you're still discerning and you're still aware, that you actually kind of just demonstrate that you're a kind person.
So, so like the people that know me,
Mm-hmm.
they will let you know that that's one of the things about me. I am very kind. I'm very nurturing. I'm that type of person who would do for you and stuff like that. And I think because I've always been like this, I've felt like people have taken advantage of that and of me being this nice person and whatever. And I think it have caused me to sometimes just be like on the defense a lot, like just you know
Or because you
until
were taken advantage of.
yeah, I think like just in growing up in general, I felt like I'm always the nice person. I'm always the submissive kind of person. I'm always, and I just feel like it was taken advantage of and not appreciated and stuff like that. So I can't help but being the type of person I am. I'm still gonna be that way. But I think like when it comes to like relationship, like speaking to men, I think they in like speaking to me probably initially, yes, I'll be pleasant. But I think once things start getting I'll probably just put up this defense like I'm this tough person. But if you do get to know me, you definitely would know that I'm like one of the softest, most kind-hearted person that just can't help herself but to be nice.
Mm-hmm. And I think a guy who genuinely wants to, who's interested in you, he will pursue you, even if you kind of have that tough demeanor. They'll try to still crack through, crack through that wall or shell. Um, because a lot of some guys like the challenge, and there's some guys who are actually attracted to that type of personality as well. So also know like there are some things that are just personality. There's some things that are rooted in hurt, and you just want to make sure that what you're doing is not out of hurt or pain, But it's really just out of a personality, and B, just you being wise about who you open up to, because like you said, you know yourself. You know you're a giver. You know you're a nurturer, and you would go over and beyond to help a person, to help people and make them feel loved, right? So I think that that is great. That is a good thing to do because you know yourself. But at the same time, you know, any guy that really is interested in you will he'll want to go through. He'll fight through that, and it's not even a fight. It was just like he'll see through it and actually want to pursue you anyway.
Okay.
But you're still demonstrating feminine characteristics, right? The warmth, the kindness. You're still able to do that, and so again, once a guy meets you and he sees those qualities, that's something that he will be drawn to.
Okay.
Hmm. And especially even Caribbean men, a lot of Caribbean men grew up around tough, strong women. So that's is not something that is rare. Um, so, I think that's just part of our culture. Like, it's so funny sometimes, like I'm around all types of people from different backgrounds, and it's so funny to me. Like, we really are, especially us Caribbean, like one of a kind, because sometimes somebody will hear somebody talking and they think they're mad, and I'm like, they're not mad. They're not they're not angry. That's just how they talk. And I have to kind of like help decode our people, with other people groups. But
I definitely know some of those. Like, they're like really rough.
yes.
And I'm like, I wonder how they met their husband, because like they really like just naturally rough the way that they
Yes.
speak and everything. But I mean, getting to know them as a person, they are kind and whatever, but they just have this rough way of speaking, and they
Mhm.
just come across just, yeah.
Yep.
But I'm not that though.
Dion said we're a passionate people. I like that. We're passionate. All right. So that was a great questions. So where was I? Number four, the fourth step to getting and keeping the man you want. So we talked about, yes, respect, right? Respect is the love language of men. I want you all to write that down. Respect is the love language of men. Respect is the love language of men. You can buy gifts for men. You could spend time with them. You can want to treat them places. But in the end of the day, if a man does not feel respected, he does not feel loved. Disrespect, even in small ways, will shut a man down emotionally. All right. So while most women look for love and affection from a man, men look for respect and admiration. Women look for love and affection in a man. Men look for respect and admiration in a woman. And so, respect primarily starts with how you speak to a man and how you're using your words. And this is why I say you have to start practicing building up people with your words, building him up with your words. Don't tear him down. When you're with a man who is genuinely good to you, and he may not have everything perfect, right? No man is perfect, right? No one is perfect. We're all flawed. So the way that you can pull the best out of him is by learning how to speak life into him, learning how to build him up, encourage him. The minute you start telling him what he's not, what he can't do, um, and you make him feel less of a man, that's what you're going to continue to draw out of him. All right. So respect is the love language of men. Learning how to use your words to build them up. This is why the Bible talks so much about how a man will rather live on the roof of a house than to stay in the house with a quarrelsome woman. Ladies, I want you to know your words, your words your words are your muscle. So while God created men to be physically stronger, he created you guys to be more verbally stronger. So your strength is your tongue, your words. A man's strength is his muscles. That's why ladies, you guys love talking more than men because that's your strength. And so God has given you the ability to speak life and to set the tone and set the atmosphere in your relationship in your house with the kind of words that you use. And yes, as you mentioned, the defense mechanism sometimes kicks in, like when you're feeling angry, irritated, annoyed, you just start getting loose with your tongue and you just start saying whatever you feel like saying. But it's be careful because the enemy will use those moments to get you to sow seeds into that man's heart and mind that can start eating away at the way that he truly feels about you, and that demotivates him and will not make him become a better leader, will not allow him to become a better lover. It won't allow him to be a better provider because he's just going to be sitting there thinking about all those negative words you said to him, and he's not going to feel encouraged and motivated to be his best version for you. Keyword for you, because all it takes is for another female to tell him those words that you didn't say to him. That's going to get him start going that way because he's going to be attracted to whatever direction respect is coming from. So the lady on his job, the girl on the street, lady in the gym, whoever, somebody says something kind to him, especially when you just gave him a mouthful or you ate him up and he feels down. All it takes is for that one hoochie, that hoochie mama to walk past and say all the words that you didn't say to him. And he's going to eat that up. He's going to sop that up with some biscuits. So you don't want to do that to your man, ladies. All right. Always build him up and respect him with your words. All right. So that's the fourth step. Yeah, I said hoochie. I don't know if we still say that today. All right. Fifth step. How much time we got? I think we got about 10 more minutes. All right. And then we'll probably continue this next week. So fifth step of how to get and keep the man that you want. Number five, position yourself wisely. Position yourself wisely. The man God has for you won't just knock on your door. He won't just show up at your doorstep. You got to get into spaces where quality men are. You have to get into rooms where you're going to find quality, financially stable, educated, godly men are. All right. So, faith based communities, conferences, networking events, church events, not just your church. If there's no men at your church, you got to visit other churches. You have to step outside of your comfort zone and step into places. There's always events. Eventbrite, ladies, Eventbrite is a beautiful website where you can literally go on Eventbrite and type in the type of events you want to go to, and they'll give you a whole list of events. And it's just a great place to find places. We have our first Fridays every first Friday, and we post it on Eventbrite. And I'm always amazed at how many people find out about the first Fridays through Eventbrite. And they were like, yeah, I just was looking for a place to go to on a Friday, and I saw that this was open. I said, let me go. And people just show up. And so technology has made it even easier to find these places, but you just got to do a little bit of digging. All right. Also, as I mentioned before, social media is your stage, is also your stage. And your profile page should reflect who you are and what you value. So, another key to positioning yourself wisely is making sure that you optimize and set up your social media pages to be a platform not just as a toy but as a tool that can you can use to leverage the type of attention, the type of people you want to attract. Dion, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. What about volunteering at like men's conference and men's events? You think a woman would look thirsty if she did that, or you think that's a good strategy?
A good strategy. That is a great strategy. Remember, because when you again being in a position of volunteering, it's showing that you have a servant oriented heart, and that communicates to a man that she is the type of woman that's nurturing, that can cater, and that's appealing to men. So yeah, definitely. Oh, you remember again, how did Boaz find Ruth? She was serving in the field. And and she was serving in such an excellent way that it caught his attention. That he said, "Who's that? Who's that woman?" She was out working. She was doing more than the other people, and he realized that the quality of work that she was doing that caught his attention. So she positioned herself according to the directions of her mom-in-law, right? Naomi told her what to do, how to position herself, and when she did that, she was recognized. So volunteering is also a great way. Any questions around that? Emma said, I need to get out the house. That's right. You got to go outside. You have to go outside. And again, events like that where it's already, it's just the interactions. I'm telling you, sometimes you meet a person and then that person has a friend that they say, "Hey, you know what? This I have a friend. I think you guys would be a good match." Sometimes it's just you just meeting people. The more people you meet, the you increase the chances and the likelihood of being able to meet the one. If you're a homebody, you're secluded, you don't hang out, you don't go anywhere, you don't do anything with anybody, then you're limiting your chances to be found. A man, the Bible says, a man that finds a wife. So, in order for you to increase your chances of being found, you have to be outside. You have to have a public profile. If your Instagram page is private, how is a man going to find you? You see what I'm saying? You have to be able to allow yourself to be seen by more people, to meet more people, so that that can increase and accelerate the chances of you being found. It doesn't mean you'll be found just because your page is public, but it increases the chances of you being found. And that's all you want to do. Position yourself wisely so that the right man can find you. He's looking, but he don't know where you are. All right. So I'll give you one more and then we'll continue this next week. And the last thing I would say is you want to I say this. You want to be his peace, not his problem. You want to how to get and keep the man you want. Be his peace, not his problem. All right? Be his peace, not his problem. If a man is in a relationship with you and you want to stay with him and you want him to stay with you, your presence in his life should bring calm, not chaos. Every man that is in this world, as strong as we try to walk around and pretend ourselves to be, men are tired too. I hear ladies say we're tired. We're tired of being strong. We're tired of being this. Guys are tired too. I don't know if you guys are aware about the how the suicide rates in black men are at an all-time high. Men are offing themselves. Men are tired. Men are facing battles in this world that at least you guys get have you at least the one thing that women have had over the years is that it's okay for you guys to talk. You guys love talking. You communicate, you emote, you release stress by having conversations and having think about how many women conferences and women events and women things are out there for women and then in comparison to the men. So a lot of men do not have any safe spaces. And then guess what? Sometimes they get into relationships with women, and the minute they try to at least communicate how they feel with a lady, guess what happens? That woman will weaponize what that man said in his most vulnerable moment and tell him about that. He told you something that he's never really shared with anybody else. He told you about probably being molested when he was a boy. He probably told you about some pain he experienced, and then you get into an argument with him, and then you bring up, see, I always thought you was gay when you told me that you were molested. That man would then walk away and say, I'll never share with anybody else anything that has ever happened to me because I know if I share what I say, it's going to come back and be used against me. So men don't feel safe talking to people. They don't even want to go to therapy. So men are tired too. We're all tired. So we should not be coming into relationships trying to use our tiredness as a badge of honor to then say, I need you to give me everything that I want so that I can feel better about myself. We both have to come into a relationship knowing that we are wounded soldiers. We are both wounded soldiers in this battlefield of life. And the one place that should be a safe place for us is our home. And home, before you even living with each other, home should just be a phone call. Home should be sitting at a dinner table and being able to talk about what we're going through and it be a place of rest, not a place of more war. So, work, stress, pressure, all these things, ladies, I'm telling you, guys don't feel safe around a lot of women. So if you can be that safe place and he knows that his secrets can be safe with you and you're trustworthy and you're not going to use his pain against him, you're not going to hit him where it hurts just because you know. See, because men are like, is like that soldier warrior analogy I just gave is like a man walking around with a shield. The minute a man lowers his shield, it's because he trusts you. If not, he's going to have to keep wearing that shield to stay guarded and protected. But the minute he lets that shield down and he lets you in and tells you some vulnerable things, that's him sharing. He's sharing you with you his weakness. That means he trusts you. You never want to take advantage of that and hit him where it hurts. For a man to trust you with his vulnerabilities and his secrets, it's because he trusts you. That is a gift. And so be his peace, not his problem. And if you do that, I'm telling you, you won't have to worry about a man cheating on you, stepping out the marriage, stepping out your relationship or anything because he knows that what he got with you is rare. He can't find that everywhere. And he would not want to mess that up. The Bible says when a man finds the kingdom, it's like a man finding a pearl, and he would sell the entire field. He will sell everything that he has in order to keep that pearl because he knows its value. That's what it's like when a man finds a kingdom woman. He will sell the entire field. He will no longer play the field. He will no longer go out dating different women, searching for other women when he know he found the pearl in the field. He found you. You're that pearl. You're that priceless treasure. That's the kingdom. That's the kingdom of God. When he finds a kingdom woman, a virtuous woman, he can't find that anywhere else. He's not going to want to mess that up. So, as I close today, you got to know your value, know what you bring to the table, know your strengths, know your power, be his peace. Remember to carry all these different uh, strengths, femininity, respect, health, clarity. If you know all those things about yourself and you bring that into a relationship, ladies, I'm telling you, you're going to stand out. You're not going to be comparable to anyone else. And that man who finds you will know he found a good thing. And he will fight to protect and keep that pearl that was hidden in the field. Amen. So I'll end right there. So if this blessed you today and you want to sow a seed, no, I'm just kidding. But I felt like I closed
I
like I was.
just laughed at that.
What did you say?
I just bust out laughing at that.
I
Actually,
was
Apostle.
I'm gonna echo that answer that, but more so I'm saying the best way,
Actually,
to sow the
Wait,
seed.
wait, wait. Three people talking at the same time.
Oh, okay.
All right. Who's going? I think I saw Emma, then Dion.
No, I'm just listening to all this information, and it's just such valuable information, and I love that you started with the clarity piece of it because I'm just doing a self analysis, and I realized there was a lot of relationships that I had no business being in
Mhm.
because I did not go into it with the clarity that I now am focusing on, right? So thank you for touching on that. And yes, I absolutely will be sowing the seed from all this valuable information I'm gaining. So thank you.
That's funny. All right. Dion, you gonna say something?
something. Yeah, I was gonna say actually as you were speaking, I was like, I gotta sow a seed on this. So it's funny you said it jokingly, but it's the truth. How can we sow a seed? Because when you said be his peace, not his problem, I was like, ooh, that's bars. And then you said your presence in his life should bring calm, not chaos. I was like, man, I gotta tag this on Facebook because this is too good. So
Mm.
yes, tell us how we can sow a seed, please.
Uh,
Uh,
but here's what I'll say. If you want to do that, you can. But also, I want to also encourage you guys that thinking about your next steps in your journey includes being able to being coached, right? So I'm coaching you guys here, but I also have my coaching program in which we go more in depth in these principles and how to do it step by step. So if you want to take your dating journey to the next level, you want to be a part of that, we can talk offline about that. So I'll also post that inside. I'll make another post in the school community to remind you guys of that. But ultimately, if you guys do want to sow, what is my I can I don't even let me see something. I'm sorry. If you guys want to do that, feel free to sow it to Vernel S Ministries. There we go. All right. No, what am I doing? That's my Cash App. Zelle should be my phone number. So if you use Zelle, that's my phone number. But thank you guys. I appreciate you taking the time to receive some brotherly, fatherly advice. Ultimately, oh, remember this Friday, if you are in town, we are having our first Friday of the month in October. So if you're interested as well in being a part of that, I will post that in the school community so you guys can join us. I just posted my number inside the chat, Dion.
Okay, I see it. Thank
I
Okay.
really enjoyed the session and I took notes.
Amen.
I did take notes, and I like one of the main things, and I think is the beginning, like to start everything off, is when you said a man can give you what you don't know what you want.
Yes.
That is key to beginning to get what you need or what you want, because and it's so true. If we really think about it, some of us we really don't know. Like, and I really need to make that list. What you said, yes. And one other thing that you said that really stuck with me also is don't want happy, want healthy, because healthy precedes happy. I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yes.
love that. Thank you so much. Thank you
so
so
Yeah.
much.
much. Thank you so much. I'm hoping someone could give me the notes that I missed. Joanna,
Of
Emma, you got.
course, my dear. Of course.
Okay, thank you. Perfect.
All right, guys, I gotta run, go get my mom from the airport. Love you all.
Bye. Bye.
All
See you
right.
all
Have
on
a
Okay.
blessed
Monday.
God
Be
bless
rest
safe.
of
you.
your day and rest of the week.
Yes, take care.